Hey y'all, I'm Sarah Wall in the Fox 10 newsroom. Thanks so much for joining us today as we go in depth. And today we're going in depth to talk a little bit more about holiday travel, but there may be a big kink in the holiday travel that's happening now. This is actually one of the biggest travel periods of the year, and we have some winter weather moving across the country. We have very cold weather moving into our area, and it is causing potentially some issues. So let's go ahead and get started as we talk a little bit about what's going on with travel. So the busy holiday travel season is underway. We talked about this before Christmas. Now we've got a big time where people are either heading home or maybe making that last minute push, but to do a little trip before the new year. Whether you're hitting the roads or taking flight, you will not be alone. Airport officials and highway patrols say the days between Christmas and New Year's are some of the busiest of the entire year. Again, as people head home after the Christmas holiday or squeeze in that one last holiday trip. And we talked with state troopers, and here's what they said.
It's just busy with travel, especially in the peak holiday season, such that we're in right now, is really the busiest times.
Yeah, we came out here for a Christmas vacation with the family. It is stressful because we end up having to be on standby and we got to wait till tomorrow to catch another flight.
That is a major issue that a lot of travelers have to deal with, because when we talk about flight delays, flight cancellations, that means people are ending up at different places on different flights, and it makes things much more complicated. Also, troopers say congestion can build on major routes like Interstates 10 and 65. Their advice for drivers and people flying after Christmas is to plan ahead, don't rush, and be prepared. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about how many travelers are expected to actually get out there and travel. And we are talking about here 122 million Americans are expected to be traveling for this end of the year travel period. 109 of those are expected to travel by car. 8 million are expected to travel by air. So a lot of people getting out there, and a lot of people are, making their last minute getaways to go someplace for the New Year's holiday or going home after Christmas. But one of the things that's interesting is that we are looking at more expensive flights than we have seen in the past, but we're also seeing a record number of people who are making the trip. You can see here that the majority of those folks are actually going by car, with the second highest number going by air. But one of the things we wanted to talk about a little bit here is if you're traveling by car, when you should be driving. So here we are, we're going to scroll on down. This is before Christmas. And now we're on December 29th. And, it's good if you want to travel before 10 a.m., but in the afternoon and evening, not so good. Tomorrow, same story, before 10 a.m. On New Year's Eve, we're expecting minimal traffic on the roads, and January 1st, also expecting minimal traffic on the roads. Those would be the times if you wanted to get out there and travel. The best times would be before 10 a.m. So in the mornings, and then on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, we're not expecting to see a lot of people out there. It is interesting as we take a look at what's going on with the weather across the area. This is the map that Algo puts out for Alabama. You can see that there is some rain out there at this point today. That rain is part of a cold front that's moving through the area. And y'all, let me just show you what's going on here really quick. Meteorologist Nicholas Urboso putting out some information to let us know that not only is there a cold front moving through, but we have some seriously strong wind gusts moving across our area. That's causing power outages, which we'll talk about in just a second. It's also causing issues for flights and potentially causing issues on the roads as well. So back to the map here, just wanted to show you wherever you see that little goldish diamond, that is actually traffic work that's being done, like a traffic project that's being done on the roadways. Crews are out there working on things. And then anytime you see something red, we've got an issue like a crash or something, which right this very second actually looks really good. And then if we see, like up here, you can see this little fluorescent green. That means we have slippery stuff on the roadways. And again, we do have a storm system that's moving through, bringing with it a cold front. If there's someplace specific you're going and you want to check it out, you can do it right here. Algo puts out this crate. These are live cameras. So if you open up one of these cameras, if you get over here and you want to see some of the different places, this takes you all the way across the state. So you can do this and you can click on, I-10 at Highway 59, whatever you want to do here, and you can see how conditions are looking in these areas. Now, again, for us right here in our section of the Gulf Coast, the rain is moving through, but we're really looking at gusty conditions and cold air now. We're not looking at the severe winter storm weather kind of stuff that's moving in other parts of the country. But that does impact us as well, especially if you're flying or if you're traveling someplace out of the Gulf Coast region. Just to let you know also that if you're traveling, you can look here and you can see what it looks like, you know, traffic conditions, how fast people are going, the average speed, how long it's taking, all of that as you work your way across the state, which is very, very helpful for you to be able to plan to make a trip to drive. So this is great information right here. Florida has some good information out as well. Let me get to the top of this so you can see what it looks like. But this is FDOT for travelers and commuters. And then you can actually pull up their website where it shows if there are any issues. And, you know, one right here, if you wanted to see, this is happening. There's Madison County. There's some road closures due to a traffic situation, but you can slide over to our section of the Gulf Coast as well in the Panhandle, and you can see that there is some construction happening in Escambia County. So this is, you know, what you can expect if you are traveling by car. And if you're traveling by car, you can see that right now across our area, things are looking okay. However, we do have these windy conditions that are moving through, and these windy conditions are causing some problems, and these are actually power outages. Alabama Power putting out their power outage map, and you can see that there are a number of areas that have power outages right now. You know, earlier today we were in the Mobile area, we were up around 30, something like that. Down around Dauphin Island we had some outages, and you can see where things are getting fixed and that power is being restored. However, if you are traveling in any of these areas, if you're flying, if you're driving, you may run into some issues if there are some power outages. And wanted to show you also, if you do have a power outage where you are, you can report it. Just FYI, we know this, right? But just a reminder, they would like for you to go ahead and report it so they know what's going on in your area. Baldwin EMC making huge progress in terms of power outages. Earlier today, we had a lot more, and they were talking widespread power outages. And again, this is due to the wind with the storm system that's moving in, bringing with it a cold front. But things are looking much better now in Baldwin EMC's area here, where you can see that they are actually doing well getting the conditions back up and going. But again, across our area, we are continuing to see some issues when it comes to windy conditions. And we're going to take a look at flights here in just a second, because that is actually something that could be an issue. All right, so wanted to take a look too to show you that what's happening around the country could be impacting us as well. Meteorologists say that this cold front that's sweeping across our area, sweeping east across the country, it's clashing with unseasonably warm air. The result is a string of these big winter storms, and they're pummeling much of the northeast quadrant today in the United States. They're dealing with snow and ice. And we talked with someone with Public Works up there, and this is what they told us.
The ice is our main concern. I know temps are supposed to warm up. Ground temps are still cold.
Yeah, so they're talking about ice being a major concern. They're also talking about blizzard conditions. They say snow could meet winds of up to 60 miles per hour in some areas. So you take a look at the map, and a lot of times, you know, we are flying out of our section of the Gulf Coast and going other places. Now, even if you're not going in these specific places or to these specific places, your plane might be coming from these specific places, or your rental car might be coming from these specific places, right? And so that is actually something that you could run into issues with. So in the Midwest, they say at least 2 million people are under blizzard warnings in the Midwest. And again, they say the gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So that limits visibility to less than 3/4 of a mile in many areas. In New England, people are expected to see rain and freezing rain today. And just, you know, we're a precursor here. We are going to take a look at this, but the Mobile Regional Airport already reporting that there are 2 flight cancellations for today. And, you know, even more detail here, according to FlightAware, the tracking site FlightAware, thousands of U.S. flights were canceled or delayed over the weekend across the Northeast and the Great Lakes. There was a winter storm that left snow and ice in its path. New York City received roughly 4 inches of snow, but, you know, residents there actually welcomed it. They had some fun with it.
Yeah, after so many years without the snow, I think it's nice to have it. At least to the point where it's manageable.
I came from the Philippines, and it's like 90 degrees every day, but I'm loving it here.
90 degrees every day, certainly not 90 degrees when you see snowplows rolling down the streets, right? Okay, so if you are traveling by airline, if you're flying, we have had some issues to report. There was an early morning flight arriving or supposed to arrive in Mobile from Atlanta, and it was canceled. Also notice now that we're looking at that canceled flight leaving to Atlanta later this morning as well. It has been canceled, but noticing here that everything is actually looking okay. Arrivals right now are looking a little bit early. Those adjusted ones are looking a little bit early, so that's good news. There is a delayed flight coming in from Washington Dulles, and that is coming in, expected to be in at 9:51. So again, like we're saying, even if you are not going to these places that are getting, all of these winter storms and things happening right now, your plane could be coming from there, and that could be impacting your flight status. So if you are flying into or out of Pensacola, look at all these delays, right? So things looking a little bit better now than they did earlier. I was checking this throughout the morning, and we had more delays, but now we're looking at a delay arriving in from Nashville, a delay coming in from Charlotte, and a delay coming in from Detroit. Again, these are the areas that we are seeing some of these big winter storm systems that are moving through, leaving ice and snow and freezing rain and all of that. And so that's going to cause some departure delays as well. Dallas Love Airport, it's delayed about 45 minutes. We've got a 40-minute delay to Charlotte, and also a delay, an hour-and-a-half delay going to Detroit. The good news is, though, these flights are going. So that actually is good news, because some of the things that we had been watching and we had been concerned about were that we weren't going to see these flights be able to take off or land today because of the snowy conditions and the bad weather across the area. But again, this is a very busy travel time, and we've been watching it throughout the morning.
It's just busy.
And let me bring up, I have been pulling up some of our maps and stuff, and you can see this is downtown Mobile as well, but we have been keeping an eye on what's going on with the Bayway and with the Causeway today, and in doing so, we've been noticing that there have been a lot of people that have been out and about already. In the early morning hours, we've been seeing a lot of people out and about today, and that started around 5:30 this morning, 4:30 this morning, which was interesting because we normally don't see quite so many people that early when we know that school's not in session. But you can see here as we take a live look, a lot of people are out on the roadways today. So if you are traveling, if you are flying, if you are any of the above, you can expect to see lots of company today and all the way through the next couple of days. Again, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day are two of the days that they're saying at this point there will be minimal travel. So that would be if you can wait and that's a good time to go, you may not run into as many folks. Also, if you fly on those days, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, oftentimes you can get cheaper flights. If you haven't booked your tickets yet, that is something that is a possibility as well. But if you're hitting the roads, hitting the skies over the next 24, 48 hours, be really careful about what's going on with these weather conditions. The winds that we're seeing across our area, I'll pull it back up again for you. Meteorologist Nicholas Urboso putting this out. But think about this when you go across the Bayway or a bridge or anything like that. This is real windy conditions, and this could actually cause some trouble for you if you are out and about on the roads. And as we can see, a lot of people are doing that. It's been pretty crowded. So y'all be careful out there. Have a safe trip. If you are wrapping up 2025 and going someplace fun, we would love to hear where you're going. Are you going someplace? And what did you do for the holidays? Is there someplace that you went that you're traveling home from at this point? We'd love to hear from you on those fronts as well. And in the meantime, as you either make your way back home or your relatives make their way, your loved ones make their way back home, wishing everybody safe travels today, especially with the winter storm that is impacting a whole lot of flights and roads and perhaps rental cars, all of the above. So y'all be careful, be safe, and absolutely stay warm.